Hey guys, today let's see the end-to-end CI/CD pipeline. So initially code will be pushed in GitHub. From there we will do the Maven compile. Then we will do unit testing. Then we do SonarQube analysis. Then using owasp we do dependency check. Then we build the package and we move it into the Nexus repository. And then we check the image quality and for bugs using Aqua trivy in Docker. Okay. So once that is done, we will do the Docker build. Then using the Argo CD, we will be push those things into the Kubernetes cluster. So let's dive in and install everything. Okay. Okay. So we have the AWS console ready. Now let's try to create the servers. Okay. So go to EC2. Okay. I'll use Ubuntu and let it be 2204. And then instance size I am selecting T2 medium. Okay, and then I'll create a key pair now. Okay, key pair is selected, and then yeah, that's it. And disk size we can keep it as 15 GB, and we need 4 instances, one for Jenkins, one for SonarQube, one for Nexus, and one for Kubernetes cluster. I'll just launch. Okay, so I'll just name all the instances. Jenkins, Nexus. Okay, now let's go for this Jenkins machine. Just connect. Okay, sudo apt update. So let's try to connect another machine as well meanwhile. Okay, so the Jenkins machine, it is done. Now let's go and install Jenkins. So here we have this GitHub page. Just come to Jenkins setup. For prerequisites, we have to install JDK. I'll just install that one. Paste. And then next we can proceed with the installation. So I'll just copy all these things. Okay, Java is installed. Java hyphen version. Okay, Java 17 is installed. Now I'll go ahead and install the Jenkins. Yes. Okay, let's wait for it to complete. Okay, let's check. It is status Jenkins. So Jenkins is up and running. Okay, now let's try to configure SonarQube and Nexus. So this is Nexus machine. So actually we are going to install it as Docker containers. So let's install Docker first. So Docker. So just copy these things. Paste. Okay. Systemctl status Docker. Okay, we have not yet installed, right? Yeah. Copy. Yeah, first we have just installed all the GPG keys and then repos, and then we are adding it. Now we can install, paste. Yes. Okay, it's still installing. Okay, now let's do system. So Docker is up and running. Okay. Okay, so we are getting permission denied error. So in case if we get any errors like this, we have to add the user into the Docker group. So we can do sudo user mod a g docker dollar user. Okay, okay, it is restarting, I guess. Let's close the instance. It is not responsive. Okay, docker ps. So if it is working now, okay, just you have to do sudo user mode and then you have to do this one, and then you have to do new group docker. Okay, so that it will start working. And then now we have to install Nexus. Okay, so actually we can use docker run -d -p. By default it will work on port 8081. So I will just open one for node and one for container. One port is for node and one for container. And then sonar type Nexus 3. Okay. So this is the image name of that Nexus. So it's downloading. Okay. Docker PS. So yeah, it is up and running. Okay. So now let's go and try to install SonarQube. Okay. Just come here, connect. And even for this Docker is required. Let me try to install it quickly. Just go here. SonarQube. auto gpt update. Okay, let it install. Okay, Docker is installed. Similar to previous step, actually now we have to do the same thing here. So let's do sudo user mode, and then we have to add it into new group. New group docker ps. Okay, so this is done, and then we have to run the docker image. Okay, so it is similar to this one, like docker run -d -p, and then we have opened two ports, one for node port and one for container, and then SonarQube LTS community. Okay, so I'll just enter, so it will download the images. Okay, the image is downloaded. Now let's do docker ps. Okay, the SonarQube is up and running. Okay, now let's go ahead and set up Kubernetes. Okay, so let's use minikube here. So we have these instances. So I'll just go here, connect. So if you come here, under Kubernetes, we have one, install argo CD. Okay, so we will install argo CD and minikube both. Okay, so just we can update these things. Just so actually you can go ahead and install a real Kubernetes cluster also. We have this script here, kubeadm, and then you can use argo CD. But here I am just going with minikube. Okay, so you can just copy this code which is here and then just paste. So I have included installing Jenkins, Maven and Docker, everything in the same script. So you can use the same one. Okay, you can just execute and it will be ready. So I am just using this minikube. Okay, I will install Docker. Okay, and then I will just give the permissions. Okay. Just we are giving permissions. Then we are just checking. Okay, this is not required. And KVM and other tools even can install this one. Yes. So once that is done, we can download the minikube binary. Okay. So just I will use this curl command to download the minikube binary. We can just paste it and we can go ahead. Okay, it is done. Now let's download the binary minikube. Okay, it is downloaded. Now let's go ahead and install minikube. Okay, just paste it. Okay, minikube is ready. Let's check this one. Paste. So minikube is installed. Okay, now let's go ahead and install the kubectl. It is required to connect and interact with the API server. Paste. Okay, we have given the permission, and then let's start the minikube. Okay, so we are using Docker as the driver. We can just use this one. Okay, it's downloading all the prerequisites of minikube Kubernetes cluster version 1.31. Okay, it is using 1.31. Okay, it's taking some time. Hey guys, if you like the videos, please do like the video. Okay, thank you. Okay, so minikube is ready. Okay, so it is running. Okay, now let's go ahead and install argo cd. Okay, it is just creating a new namespace for argo cd. Okay, paste, and then install argo cd. So it is just using this install YAML file, and it is installing all the required components. Okay, and then we use kubectl get all. So all the resources which are created, like deployment services, whatever it is, so everything will be displayed when you use this command get all -n argo cd, and we are just providing the namespace. So if we paste it, so we will get all the components which are there. For example, if you see replica set, deployment services, pods, all the things which are created, it will be displaying here. So almost everything is ready, just a few are yet to come. Okay, so everything is ready. Okay, so once argo cd is ready, in order to access that, we have to expose this argo cd server. Okay, so we can come to these things later. Okay, now let's go ahead and set up Jenkins. Okay, so Jenkins is ready. Now let's take this public IP. Okay, before that, actually, we have to configure the security groups, because in case if we have to access all these applications, like port numbers has to be enabled, right, in security group. So let's go ahead, security. So just select this one. So here inside the inbound role, we are using many components, right? So what we can do, like we can configure all the IPs here. So I will configure all the IPs at once. Okay, from 3000 to 10,000, and I am allowing it from everywhere. Okay, so let's save this one. Okay, now let's go here. Okay, not this one. Let's go to Jenkins, just copy public IP, and default port number is 8080, right? Let's enter. Okay, so default password will be located at this location. Okay, so by default, when we do systemctl, we get this here. I'll just copy this one. Okay, and install all the suggested plugins. Okay, I will just configure okay, confirm password. Then I'll give sample email ID. Okay, Jenkins is up and ready. So we are using different tools, right? So let's try to configure all the required uh, tools. Okay, so come to manage Jenkins. Okay, and we can install all the plugins which will be required. Okay, so go to available plugins. So here you can search. So what and all we are going to use? We are going to use JDK 17 Java, which is prerequisite for many. So we can search for Eclipse. Okay, and then what is required? We require Maven. Okay, so Maven integration and config file provider. We can select these things, and then we are going to use SonarQube. So we can go and select Sonar Scanner. Okay, and then we will be using Nexus for Artifactory management. So select this Nexus Artifactory uploader. Okay, and then we are going to use Docker. So let's select Docker pipeline and commons. Let's try to install these things first. Okay, so again let's go to plugins meanwhile, and then we can install remaining things as well. So we are going to use, okay, we have installed Docker, right? So we are going to use owasp dependency check. So this is used for dependency check in our pipeline. So let's install that as well, and then we can so go ahead and install Kubernetes. Okay, and then we can use pipeline view pipeline stage view install. Okay, we should have one. Okay, let it install. And then we need this plugin as well, like pipeline Maven integration. So just select and install this as well. Okay, so all the plugins are installed. So now let's go ahead and install the tools. So come to manage Jenkins, click on tools, and then here we have to configure all the tools which needs to be used. Okay, so if we come down, we have JDK installations. So just select this one, JDK 17, install automatically from Adaptium. Here we can select version 17. Okay, and then git, let's leave it as default, and then we have SonarQube scanner. Okay, so we have configured SonarQube, but we have not yet accessed it, right? So let's try to log in this one. So it is port 9000, and this is the public IP. Okay, just 9000, enter. So the default username password is admin again. Okay, so let's change the password. update. So once this is done, you can go to this my account. Under security, we can create one token, global token generate. So this is important. Just copy this one and you can keep it somewhere. Okay, so I'll just go here to so before this, let me open this in duplicates. Let's go ahead and configure the credentials. Okay, manage Jenkins and then credentials. Okay, so if we come here, select this one, select global credentials. So here add credentials. Okay, so first we have to configure for SonarQube. So it is a secret text, right? So secret text, secret. So this is the secret. Just paste it and then SonarQube. So I'm just creating, and then we can create for Docker as well. So for Docker, it will be username, password, username. Okay, and then I will give the password and then give description. Okay, create. Okay, so this is done. Now let's go to tools. Uh, let's select SonarQube, Sonar Scanner. Okay, so it is automatically selecting, and then no need Maven. So for actually we are using third version of Maven. So let's give name as Maven 3. Okay, so that is done. And then for dependency check, so you can give dependency check as the name, and then installation directory. You can select install automatically, and then you can select from install from GitHub. Okay, so that is done. And then Docker installation. So you can give name as Docker, install automatically, install from docker.com. Okay, let it be latest. Okay, and save. So we have configured all the tools. Okay, now let's go ahead and configure the system. So here we have the Jenkins URLs, and then here we have SonarQube server. Okay, so let's add SonarQube. Okay, I'll give a name as SonarQube, and then you can give the URL. So this is the URL. Just copy it. Okay, and then server authentication token we have already created, right, for Sonar. Yeah, just select Sonar. Okay, apart from that, yeah, that's it. Let's save this one. Okay, so we have configured most of the things. Now let's go ahead and create the pipeline. Okay, create a job. Okay, so I will just select pipeline. Okay, so here you can come and select hello world. So we will get the pipeline. So what we can do now, let's start writing the end-to-end CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so we have pipeline and then agent. Any, like in case if you have multiple nodes, then we can define on each agent it has to run, and then we have different stages. Okay, so we are using the code here, like it is like a cart code. We are using the same code. Okay, so now let's come here, give the name as git checkout. Okay, and then we can use pipeline syntax as well. Okay, here you can select git. Okay, and then this is the HTTP URL. Just come here and then give the repo name, and then branch is master. That's fine. Then credentials, it's not required. and then you can just generate Excellent script, and you can copy this one, just paste it here. Okay, just remove this one and paste it. Okay, so we have created the pipeline step for git checkout, and then we can just copy the same thing. Okay, we have to just copy stage, not stages. Okay, just copy this one. So we will be requiring more. Let's create multiple. Okay, let me zoom this on a bit. Okay, so first step we have done git checkout. Okay, and then next is we have to do compile, code compile. Okay, so before that actually we have configured few tools, right? So we have to configure those things as well. So tools, we have to define it under tools, enter. So here what are the tools we configured? We have configured Maven. Okay, so the name is Maven 3, and then we have configured JDK, right? JDK, and the name which we have given is JDK 17. So these are the things which we configured in the tools section. So apart from this, we have to configure few more, but let's first check this one. So we have given the stages code compile. Now let's execute that step. Okay, so normally the Maven code we have to give it as sh, it is a shell command. So mvn clean compile. Okay, so it will compile the code, and then once this is done we can do unit testing. Okay, so to do the unit test we will be using Maven again. um, Fetch npm test. Okay, so normally when we do this one, we can test the code, but actually we don't have any test cases now. So for now we can ignore that one. So to ignore that one we have to give the maven dot test dot skip equal to true. Okay, for now we have this step, but we are just ignoring because we don't have any test cases. But in case if we have any test cases, then we can just go ahead and execute mvn test. Okay, and then next let's configure next step, copy. Okay, so next is SonarQube analysis. Okay, so we have this SonarQube ready. So we have integrated that as well, right? So now we have to include that in the stage. Okay, so actually we have to define it under the environment variable. Okay, environment. Okay, so in we can define it under a variable. So on our home, let's define the home. So tool, and then the name which we have given is sonar scanner. This is the name which we have given in the tools section. If we come to manage Jenkins, in manage Jenkins under tools, so we have given the name as sonar scanner. Okay, so as we have given it as sonar scanner, we are giving the same name here. Okay, so this is done. So where is this one? Unit testing is done. Let's go for next step. It is SonarQube analysis. Okay, so to do SonarQube analysis, so actually we have to use pipeline syntax, that is with SonarQube environment. Okay, and then the token is sonar generate pipeline. So we can just copy this one. Okay, so inside these steps we can just remove this one, paste it. can remove some block. And here instead of this credential, anyway we have used Sonar, right? So we can use the same thing here. Credential name is Sonar, right? So we can use that one. So here we have to pass in the shell script. Okay, when we pass triple quotes, actually we can define multiple lines of code. Okay, so here we have given the name as Sonar Home, right? Let's copy this one. Okay, dollar paste, and then actually all the variables like all the installables will be in a bin folder. So bin, and then Sonar scanner. So we are using Sonar scanner, right? And then we have to define the project, the sonar dot project key. Okay, let's give the name as demo. Okay, and then we have to give the project name as well. Okay, the sonar dot project name. Okay, in SonarQube, if you come to projects, so we can create projects. Okay, so let's select manually demo setup, and then here we are using Jenkins. So Jenkins, GitHub, configure analysis, continue, continue, Maven. So we are getting this one, right? So the SonarQube project key is demo. So the same thing we are passing it here. Okay, so the same thing we are passing it here under demo project key. Also we are giving same project name. Also we are going to give the same. Okay, demo, and then we have to do like which binaries we have to scan. Okay, sonar dot java dot binaries. Okay, so what and all we have defined. Okay, so we are defining project key. Okay, and then project name, and then binaries. Okay, that's it. Okay, pipeline step is correct. And then next we can define OSAP, OSWAP dependencies. Okay, so this is just for scanning the dependencies which are required for the code. In case if there are any dependencies missing, then it will throw the error. Okay, even we can integrate security using this one. So it is one of the security tools which is most commonly used. Okay, so for OSPAP, actually we have installed a plugin, right? So using that plugin, we can check that one. So if you come to the pipeline syntax, come to pipe. Okay, so here we will have something called okay. If you see here, we have something called dependency check. Okay, so just select this one, and then dependency check. That is the name which we have given. Arguments generated pipeline script. Okay, so we have got this one. Okay, the dependency check in okay, just copy this one. Okay, so we have this one. So when we have to scan anything, okay, just we have to pass hyphen hyphen scan. Okay, so hyphen hyphen scan, and then if you give dot slash, it will scan the entire directory. So we have just got this code, right? We can just give this one, and then we have one more thing, like this will generate a um, certain files. Okay, in the certain format. So in case if you have any errors, it has to be displayed, right? So we have to give the file name as well. Okay, so we can use another pipeline syntax, dependency check publisher. Okay, so Okay, it's not loading. Dependency check publisher, and then it is asking for the XML report pattern. So in which pattern we need this particular thing. Okay, so we have to get the file in .xml format. Okay, so actually I have the pattern ready. I'll just paste it here. Generate pipeline. Okay, just copy this one and then you can paste it here. So actually we have got the pattern, but we need to remove this thing. Just remove this one. Then you can remove this as well. Okay. So we will get to the output in this pattern. Okay. So we have configured most of the things. Okay. Now let's save and try to run this one. Build now. This OSWAP dependencies, it will take some time to install because it has to download everything and it has to do. For first time, it will take lots of time. Let's wait and check. Okay, tests are skipped. Build success. Okay, there is some issue with this SonarQube analysis step. Let's check that one. Okay, actually the name which we are given is Sonar. Actually the environment variable which we provided in the system is Sonar Scanner, SonarQube. Let's check that one. The name which we are given is SonarQube. Let's try to change that one. Okay, save, build. It is running fine now, but still I see some issue related to Node V. Okay, this for the requirement of Node.js. Let's try to install this node as well. So let's go to this Jenkins machine. Sudo yum install. Okay, sudo apt. Yes, node -v. Okay, so version 12.22.9 is installed. So next time when we execute, mostly we will not see that issue as well. So actually now OSAP dependencies are downloading, so it will take more number of time. Like currently it is 10,000 out of 2,74, so it will take time. Let's wait for it to complete. Okay, meanwhile while it's downloading, let's go ahead and log into Nexus repo. So we have a Nexus. Okay, just copy this one. So default port is 8081. Okay, it's loading. Okay, now let's log into this one. So the username is admin, but the password it will be inside the pod, okay, under admin.password. So now let's go inside this one. Docker exec -it c0 uh, bin bash. Okay, we have logged in. ls cd sonar type work. Let's check what is there inside. cd nexus 3 ls, and then we have admin password. Let's do cat. Okay, so before here they have bash as well. Just before bash, just copy this one. Okay, not sure whether it is copied or not. Let me try to copy again. Copy, paste it, sign in. Okay, you can give new password. Okay, next, next, finish. Okay, so we have the nexus repo. If we come here, repositories, so we have maven releases, maven snapshot, NuGet, everything. So okay, let's go to this pipeline. Let's see. Okay, it's still 15%. Let's wait for it to complete. Okay, meanwhile let's try to log into argo cd as well. Okay, so we have this one. So if we come here, so actually we can expose the port. Okay, so 8080 I have already used, so I will use a different port. So you can use the same documentation. So the argo cd installed, we can use port forward. Okay, when we do port forward, we will be able to access this thing from outside. Okay, so I will come to this. Okay, this is Kubernetes machine. Just paste it, and then I'm using a different port number. I will use 9111. Okay, what is this? 9111. Enter. Okay, so it has forwarded the port. So I will just copy this one, and then I will paste the port number. Let's wait. Okay, advanced, proceed. Okay, we are seeing some certificate issue. Let's check. Okay, let's check the pipeline issue, like a certificate issue later. So meanwhile, the pipeline has successfully completed. If we, so all the stages have completed successfully. So we have tools installed: GitHub checkout, code compile, unit testing, SonarQube analysis, and owasp dependency. So these steps are completed. So now let's check for the next steps. Go to configure. Okay, so we have done till owasp dependency. Now let's try to build the package. Okay, just copy this one. We can do Docker build now. Sorry, like Maven build. So one step for this one. Okay, and then we can do Maven package. So when we do Maven package, all the before build steps will be executed. So actually we have to keep this step as well, because when we execute this package lifecycle, even the lifecycle of test will be executed. So as we don't have test steps, just we have to ignore this one. So just give Maven package. So once this is done, we have to deploy that package into Nexus. Okay, so deploy to Nexus. So let's go to this pipeline generator, refresh. Okay. We have something called um, for Nexus. Okay, yeah, this one only. So Maven is Maven 3 and then JDK 17 and then global config path. So actually we have to define a config path for Nexus to work. Okay, so let's come here. So go to end-to-end. Okay, let's go here. Manage Jenkins. So if we have some, see, we have something called managed files. Okay, so we have to configure these managed files, XML file. So click on add new config. Okay, select global Maven config, and then you can give it as global config. You can give it as global. Next. Okay, so if we come down, we will have the server details here. Okay, so if you see, we have these server details. Okay, so it is commented. Just copy this one, and you can paste it outside of that comment. Okay, similarly you can do once more. Okay, so why we have done it twice? So when we configure Nexus, actually we have to configure one for releases and one for snapshot. Release is for like prod deployments and snapshot it's for dev and test environments. So let's come here. So deployment repo. Okay, so just select this one. Okay, and then here this is the repo name. Okay, Maven releases. Okay, just copy this one and paste it here, and then username. So I have given the username as admin and even the password as admin. Similarly here you have to configure the repo. So come back. So it is Maven snapshots. Just copy this one. Okay, just paste the ID here and give the username password. Okay, submit it. Okay, so my global settings is created. Now let's come here. So again now we have to refresh this page. Yeah, we have to refresh this one. Okay, with Maven prod environment, Maven 3 JDK 17 and then global configuration. Here if you see my global settings, it has come. Okay, and then let it be generate the pipeline. Okay, so just copy this one and you can paste it here. Okay, so we can delete this block, then just press tab. Okay, so what we can do with global Maven settings config, it is global and then JDK 87 Maven 3 and then Maven settings true everything. Okay, so now it will be able to connect to that repo. Okay, now we have to pass in the command. So normally in case if you have to push the repo to Nexus, we have to do mvn deploy. Okay, mvn deploy, and again we have to skip this tests because when we execute the script it will be executed with the life cycle. Okay, true. And then once this is done, next step is to build the Docker. Okay, okay, so meanwhile let's execute and check whether it is pushing properly. Okay, let me build the pipeline. Okay, let me try to log into Docker Hub as well. Docker Hub. Okay, so let me try to create a repo. Okay, so I've given the name as cicd cart create. So we have the repo now. Let's see this end-to-end pipeline. So deploy to Nexus, it failed. Okay, let's see why it failed. Okay, it has failed to execute the job. Okay, let's check how it. Okay, so actually we have now changed the config in pom.xml file. Because of that, we are seeing that issue. Okay, let's try to fix that one. If you come here, so actually it is connected to this server. Okay, let me try to edit this one. So because of that, it is failing. Okay, so just copy this one and go to your pom.xml. So just change the IP address. Okay, just remove this, paste it. Okay, that's it. Now let's commit this one. Okay, now let's try to build now. Okay, it's building. Let's wait for it to complete. Okay, the pipeline it has successfully deployed to Nexus. Now let's come here, go to repository, browse repositories. Okay, if you see here under snapshots, so we have the jar file created. Okay, we have the jar file created and it's successfully uploaded to the Nexus. Okay, so once this is done, so as a next step, we can go ahead and build the Docker image. Okay, okay, now let's come to configure. Okay, just I will copy this stage, paste it. Docker build and tag. So let's go to pipeline like here with we will see Docker registry. Registry URL it is not required. Registry credentials we have to give the credential. Generate pipeline. Okay, we will get this one. So first line we can ignore. If we come here, we can just paste this one. Okay, so Okay, so with Docker credentials, and then here we have to pass in the Docker command. So Docker build -t. So here we have created this one, right? So just copy this one, and we have to pass in, and then we can give it as latest. Okay, latest, and then we have to pass in the file. Okay, where is the Docker file? So if you come here, so we have Docker folder. Inside Docker folder we have Docker file. Okay, just copy the name. So inside Docker we have this Docker file. Okay, and then at last you have to mention dot. Okay, so this is done, and then to scan this one. Okay, so here we are building and we are tagging, and then we have to do trivy scan. Once the Docker image is built, we have to scan it, right? So we have to use trivy. Let's create a separate step for this one. Okay, we can create one more step. Okay, so here we can give trivy scan. Okay, so first we have to install trivy. Okay, so if we come here, we have Nexus, this one. So go to this docs. So inside this Kubernetes, okay, inside Jenkins or somewhere I have placed it. Okay, we have a separate folder. So we have this trivy installation. Okay, okay, it is not good. Okay, I will try to modify this one. Meanwhile, we can use this one. Okay, we can just use this one, paste it. Yes. Okay, go to next step. We are using wget, and then we are passing in this one. Okay, I have to pass till here. Copy, paste it. Okay, okay. This trivy Ubuntu. Okay, just you can come here. Okay, so we have this thing. Debian. It is very simple. Just come here and paste everything here. That's it. Okay, so trivy is installed. So trivy is installed. Now let's configure the pipeline. So for trivy scan, we have to pass it as shell command. So just remove this one. Remove this as well. Okay. So so to we have to pass it as a shell command. Just use trivy image. So we have to scan this image, right? The image which is built here. Okay. So we have to just pass that as a report as well. So trivy image, and then just we can pass all these things into a text document. Txt. Okay. So trivy will scan this image and it will give the report. Okay. So once this is done, the next step is to push, Docker push. Okay, so we can use the same thing which we have used here, same credentials, and then here instead of this thing, we can use Docker push command. Okay, docker push, and then just remove this as well. No need of docker files. Yeah. So once this is done, actually we should see an image pushed here. Okay. So now let's save this one. Okay. Build now. If you see here, so all the trends of different check which we have used, it is coming here. Okay. And then artifactory, it is shown here. And then SonarQube, like whether it is passed or not, we get here. And then dependency check. So we can just right click and open it, so that it will go and show in case of any errors. Okay. Okay, it failed. Okay, let's check. There is some issue with the parameters. Okay, it required the URL. Just we have passed this URL like Docker Hub URL. Just, let's try to re-trigger this one. Okay, again we are seeing the issue. The issue is due to the thing like we have not given the proper permissions in the Jenkins, as we have seen earlier. So again we have to give this user mode permission. Okay, here, okay, Docker does not exist. Okay, we have forgot to install the Docker itself here. Okay, let's try to install the Docker. Yes. Okay, so I have installed the Docker. So we have forgot to install Docker in Jenkins itself. So it's working fine now. Let me try to rebuild the pipeline. Okay, let's wait for it to complete. Okay, now trivy scan is happening. And guys, just remember, try to give the permission correctly, like Docker AG, Docker and Jenkins. And also, like remember to restart the Jenkins once, otherwise this pipeline will fail in case if you have not installed that correctly. Okay, now actually it has built the image and it is doing the trivy scan. Okay, the scan is in progress, and then it is pushing the image to the repo. Let's wait for it. Okay, it's completed. So now we have the pipeline. Okay, so now we have the end-to-end pipeline with trivy scan docker push. So if we come here and if we refresh this one, so we have the image. Okay, now let's try to deploy this thing in the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, using Argo CD. So if you see here, so we have installed the tools, git checkout, code compile. We have done the unit testing. Didn't have the test cases, but instead of test skip, if you just executed Maven test, that is the unit testing. Then we have done the SonarQube analysis. Then we have done owasp dependency. Then we have built the image. Then we have deployed the to Nexus, and we have built the Docker image and we have tagged it. And then we have done the trivy scan, and then we have pushed it. Okay, so we have done almost all the steps. Now the next step is to use deploy it to the Kubernetes cluster using Argo CD. Okay, now let's see that one. Okay, we have installed the Argo CD. Let's expose the port. So we are using a no hub so that we can run the expose in background. So I'm giving the port number 9333. Okay, so it is sending the output no.out. Okay, let's copy the public IP and try to open it. The port number is 9333. So it's loading now. Okay, so we can get the password from secrets. So we can just execute the command in Kubernetes cluster. Okay, we have got the password. Just copy the thing which is before root. Okay, the default username is admin. So we can just enter it, and then password, let's paste it, which we copied now. Okay, so the Argo CD UI is ready. Now let's go to new app. Here, let me give the application name end to end, ecut, project name default, automatic sync, and in source repository URL, we can give the entire URL and just remove from blob to deployment service YAML. And then path we can give dot slash because all the files which are executable are under that path. Give select cluster URL. Namespace you can give it as default. Okay, that's it. Create. Okay, it is syncing now. Okay, it has created all the services, deployments, and all other configurations. Now let's try to check the pods. kubectl get pods. So the all the pods are up and running. The deployment and now let's check the service. So yeah, it is also running fine. It is exposed on node port, and if you see the node port is available. Okay, 31558 is the port. Let's copy the public IP. Okay, now the application is loading. Yeah, it is successfully loaded. The default username password is admin. Okay, login. Okay, the application is successfully loaded, and so the application is successfully deployed on the Kubernetes cluster using Argo CD. So if we come to the home page, we are able to see all the products from the application. So guys, we have seen each and every step. So this will be the complete CI/CD pipeline which we'll be using in the organization as well. Okay, thank you guys. In case if you like the video, please like it. Yeah, thank you.